So continuing on, in the last video we had entered the radio input types in the form. So we had started with Sunday, okay, so input, type radio, ID is Sunday, and name is favorite days or fave day, and the value is Sunday. And we added the label, and the label is, the first one, the label is for Sunday, which is this one. Okay, so the attribute for is always for the ID. Okay, so it's for this one, and the label is Sunday, and the label ends here. So I had copied this and pasted this twice. So now I have 3 radio buttons, and then I changed it. The next one is for Monday. Okay, the name is same, fave day, because it's the same group. And then the value is for Monday. Okay, and in the label, I have again for the ID Monday, and the label is Monday, and so on. Okay, so this is what it ends up looking like. I'm just going to save all and show you. Okay, so here we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. All right, so mine appears on a different line because I had added a line break here. Okay, so normally we wouldn't be using line breaks to kind of change positioning and things like that. We're going to use different ways to do that, but we can do that in the CSS later. I can take out the line break here. All right, so let's move on to the next thing, which is the checkboxes. Okay, so the type checkbox defines a checkbox. Checkboxes lets you select 0 or more. With the radio button, 1 must always be selected. Okay, but with the checkboxes, you can have 1, you can have nothing, you can have 2 or 3. All right, so let's try that. So again, the attributes are type, which is checkbox ID. You have the name, and then you have the value. Okay, again, so that's type, ID, name, and value. So let's go and show. So in here, I'm going to have another break. Okay, and here I'm going to have input. And the type is checkboxes. And enter that here. And ID is going to be vehicle 1, vehicle. For some reason that doesn't quite look correct, vehicle, but that's the way you spell vehicle, I guess. Okay, so vehicle, and the name is also vehicle 1, and the name is vehicle 1. Go. And the value is going to be, let's say this one is car. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to close my tag there. All right, so let's go take a look at the label. So the label will be for, of course, the ID, which is vehicle. Okay, and then the label is I have a bike, and label, end tag. Okay, so let's go do that in our Atom. So label for, so I double clicked it, and then it kind of does this autofill for me here, which is awesome. So it's going to be for vehicle 1. Okay, and I'm going to say I have a car. All right, so I kind of want a line break here. There we go. And let's go see what that looks like. So I'm going to save up all, and then go view that. So I have a car. I have an extra kind of tag here, so I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. So now I'm just going to copy and paste this twice. Okay, so the next one's going to be 2, vehicle 2, and it will be for a truck. Okay, so I have a truck, and it'll be for 2. The next one is 3. Excuse me. Excuse me, and I've accidentally got rid of a quotation mark there. There we go. And boat. A boat. And make sure that it's for 3. All right, and here we have our group of checklists. checkboxes I made. Okay, so let's go take a look at that. Oh, so I don't have it formatted properly here, so I can see that this checkbox should actually go right beside it. So let's kind of go fix that. So maybe I don't want to have that there, and I want to have it after the label. Okay. There we go. And hopefully that fixes it. That looks a lot better. So the checkbox, I have a car, I have a truck, I have a boat. You can check all of them or none of them. But with the radio button, you have to check at least one of them. All right? Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint and take a look at the submit input type. So the submit type defines a button for submitting the form to a form handler. So what is a form handler? It's typically a file on the server that has a script for processing input data. So the form handler is specified in the form's action attribute. Okay, so action is, it will go to a page, action page.php. So in this action page, it would have all the script that you need to do what it needs to do with the data. Okay, so here we have then input type submit, and the value is submit. Okay, so this is really what we need to worry about down here. Okay, so I'm just going to end show here. And let's go over here to so we have input. Oops, not. Okay, that's not what I want it to do. So let's try that again. Input. And then I have submit. No, input type. All right. Equals. Here we can choose submit. And the value can be submit. All right. And then I'm going to close that. And then here, in your form, okay, right here, you should have an action. And the action tells you to go somewhere. Okay, so the file that I'm going to give you later is actionpage.php. So let's enter that. action_page.php. Okay. And I'm going to save that. And I'll just show you what it looks like, but it won't actually do anything when I submit it because this page right now doesn't exist yet. Okay, so let's go and take a look. Right, so here we have a submit button. When I click on it, it will look for actionpage.php and do what the script says to do. All right, so let's go over and take a look at our PowerPoint. We'll come back to this in a bit. Okay, so I just want to talk about the name attribute for the input element before we move on to the form submit action page. Okay, so each input field must have a name attribute to be submitted. If the name attribute is omitted, then the value of that field will not be seen. Okay, and it won't be seen when you send it to the action page. Okay, so another thing here is the size attribute that I wanted to talk about. The input size attribute specifies the visible width in characters of an input field. So the default size is 20. So when you create an input field, it will be 20 characters long. So this is what 20 looks like. Okay, so you can change that. All right, so you can change that. Note that the size attribute works with the following types: text, search, telephone, URL, email, and password. They'll all be 20 default. But you can change it by telling it to be something else, like size 50. So if you tell it to be size 50 in here, then it will be longer. Okay? So I'm going to pause here, and then in the next video, we'll talk about the required attribute, and then we'll also look at the form PHP page. Okay?